Hey everybody, this is Russ from Retro Game Core. So I've done several videos about how to play the Super Mario 64 port on different retro handheld devices. I started with the RG350 and then I did the RG351P. Well, today that's no different. I'm going to do one about the PocketGo S30. Now when it comes down to it, this device in particular seems really well suited for Super Mario 64 in some ways, but also not very well suited for it in other ways. First of all, I think that this form factor is really well suited to play various Nintendo games. Obviously, Super Nintendo is going to be the major inspiration here, but I think Nintendo 64 games are really fitting on this device as well. And this Super Mario 64 port is just a really exceptional game to play on this device because it runs at 60 frames per second and it looks just beautiful. I would argue that no game plays better on this device than this Super Mario 64 port. This frame rate at 60 frames per second just needs to be seen to be believed. And I'm actually recording this video in 60 frames per second, so make sure you have that clicked on as you're watching this video so you can really see that difference. Now unfortunately, the one thing it doesn't have going for it is it doesn't have a second analog stick, so you can't control the camera with your right thumb. You have to use the D-pad instead. But I think that's really a minor thing in the context of everything. So without any further delay, let's show you how to install this. So first things first, you need to check out the link that I have in the video description below, which will take you to this page here. And this is a builder for the actual port itself. There's 3 steps involved. The first one is you just hit play on this tool chain here. It's a pretty quick one. It takes about 30 seconds altogether. Step 2, you need to go into the folder section. So you just click on this little folder icon and then hit refresh to make sure you have the most updated folders in your tool chain here. The next thing you need to do is to add your actual ROM, and this is going to be from the Mario 64 game itself. I would recommend that you use a US version ROM, and it should use that hash code that you see there on the right, that SHA1. Just change the file name to baserom.us.z64 and then drag it into the PocketGo S30 folder here. It'll take a second to upload, and then after that all you have to do is hit play on the next step. At this point, the tool will run through its process here. It's basically adding all the assets and compiling a new port specifically for you. Okay, after that, you're actually done compiling everything. Next step is just to download the install package. And it's there. You can see it called SM64_PocketGo_S30_build. So just download that zip. And you can save it wherever you want. I'm just putting it in this PocketGo S30 folder so I don't forget about it. Okay, and there you go. Now if you look here on the instruction, it says that you need to unzip this and then put the contents in the root folder of your PocketGo S30 SD card. So let's plug in your PocketGo S30 SD card now. Okay, so here's my S30 SD card, and this is running my Simple 30 firmware here. And all you have to do is just drag all these files over. You probably don't need to drag the README file over, but I'm doing it just to be safe. And that's it. So just go ahead and eject your SD card, and you've now installed Super Mario 64 port on your device. Okay, so let's take out that SD card and put it into our device again. And like I mentioned before, I'm using my Simple 30 firmware here, and if you haven't used it before, I'll leave a link in the video description. I really love it. It's not necessary to run this Super Mario 64 port, but it's a really nice complement. Okay, so you see it here. All you have to do is press A to start it up. And look at that. Look at how beautiful it looks. Now just real quick, let me show you how to get out of a game. So you hit start to pause the game, and then you hit R1 to bring up the menu, and then you just go to exit game. There's also some options in there you can play around with as well. So here we are, Mario 64 in 60 frames per second. And like I mentioned before, this really has to be seen to be believed. Now the button layout is exactly what you would expect. The B button is jump, the Y button is the punch button, and you can use either L2 or R2 for your crouching button. If you want to map them, you actually just go into one of those folders and you'll find this SM64 config file, and then you can remap them there if you'd like. But honestly, I think these are perfectly mapped right now. Well, really, that's about it for this video. I don't have much more to show here. I just wanted to show you how to run Super Mario 64 on the PocketGo S30. It's funny because I've created 3 different videos about Super Mario 64 ports, but man, I have never actually played this game much. Like, I've gotten maybe like 3 or 4 stars, and that's about as far as I've ever made it. One of these days, I just need to hunker down and do it. But to be honest, most of my time is just spent making videos for you guys, which I enjoy doing anyway. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and we will see you next time. Happy gaming.